And now to talk about our module of the week, let's turn it over to Martin Anderson-Klutz, a senior solutions engineer at Acquia and maintainer of a number of Drupal modules of his own. Martin, what do you have for us this week?
Thanks, Nick. Have you ever needed to add a set of quick links, essentially visual navigation prompts, to the home page or section pages of your Drupal site? There's a module for that. It's called the Quick Links Kit, which is different from the Quick Link module created by last week's guest, Mike Herschel. It's a module that I created in April of 2021. It has a 1.06 version that supports Drupal 8, 9, and 10, and a 2.0.1 version that supports only Drupal 10 for reasons we'll talk about a little bit later. It is, to be honest, sporadically maintained, but a pretty simple module. And really, once it's installed and you've imported the configuration, it's something that you can safely uninstall and not really need anymore anyway. Now, it has only one issue open, which is not a bug, which is probably not surprising considering that it is, according to Drupal.org, in use by only one website currently. Now, the module is really just a set of configuration with an optional submodule that sets everything up, including the placement of the block on the homepage for sites using Olivero as their theme. So it's perfect for a fresh install of Drupal. It allows for SVG icons to be set for each link and sets their fill to inherit from the link style. The links can be created and managed without leaving the page on which they're used by using the settings tray. That would be a quick configuration change to use a modal or a separate page instead, if that's your preference. The 2.0 version also makes use of Drupal 10's new responsive grid views display. So if that's something you've been wanting to try out, this is an easy way to take it for a spin. I thought this module was appropriate for today's episode because it's an example of a module that will be a great candidate to be a recipe once the infrastructure for them is ready. Now, that said, the Olivero submodule does currently contain a little bit of CSS to improve the display of links, but that could easily be copied into your site's custom theme. So let's talk about the Quick Links Kit.
I'd like to update the usage stats. It looks like 2 sites report using this module.
You've doubled, it's exponential growth. You've doubled your user base.
And so it begins.
Directly related to Talking Drupal, I'm sure. So, Martin, I'm wondering, what was your use case for creating the module? Was it just a necessity for you to be able to quickly add links in this manner, or was there some other use case that you had for it?
So it actually started because I was working on a project that was really creating a website template that was going to be in use for multiple sort of small municipal sites. And so that was sort of a common requirement across all of them, because they'll usually have, like, where do I get my parking permits, or, different kinds of things, as sort of, having those quick links on the homepage was sort of a common pattern for municipal sites. And I had built it as a module specifically because, I wanted to be reusable across those different sites. And then at the end of the day, it seemed like something that could easily be, made into a contrib module and really shared with, the rest of the community.
Got it. That's super, super interesting. And I like the use of the settings drawer aspect of it. That feels like a really great way to administer that.
Yeah, I think on that project, I had used that quite a bit. So also using the settings tray with a custom block for, or with the config page module, to be able to have things like the header as something you could sort of like slide out and change without, again, leaving the page, which I think for editors is kind of a nice pattern to say, I don't have to take you off to someplace else. You can stay where you are, make updates without sort of leaving the page that you're on.
One question I had is the icons. How customizable are those?
So it's really just using, essentially what it will create is a custom media type for SVG image, and then you can import whatever SVG icons you want. So it can be from like IcoMoon or any of the popular libraries that are out there.
Oh, nice.
Based on the visual on the module page, it looks like you can just upload your own too, right? Just to drop an SVG in there if you want.
Exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Are the images required?
I don't believe that they are, but that's a good question. If they are required, it would be a simple update. Once you have it installed, to either make them not required or to remove the field entirely, because it is, at the end of the day, it's just a set of sort of starting point configuration that you can then customize to your particular needs.
So based on our primary topic today, I assume that you, based on what you said, are considering moving this to a recipe maybe at some future state.
Yeah, I think once it feels like recipes are no longer experimental and ready to go, I have this as well as a number of other modules that I'm looking forward to making into recipes.
Interesting. Well, maybe throughout the show we'll figure out how you could make that transition and what that transition might look like for the end user.
I'm looking forward to hearing more about that.
Well, as always, Martin, thank you for your on-topic module of the week, and yeah, I'm interested in seeing how that's going to work too. So, thank you. See you next week.